Okay, now this problem here is about as miserable as it gets, really. Okay, so it's kind of the same as the first one. You have a proportion, but there's three different ratios. Here, here, here. You can tell that by the lines. So again, I extend the lines out. But this is a little bit different. When you have a minus or a plus operator, it has to go in parentheses, okay? And in parentheses, that doesn't have one, okay? So I just drop that one down. Parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. Now we're gonna have to factor the one. This has three terms. Put a 1 there, okay? That has three terms. That we'll have to from here to here. We're gonna have to replace this. This is gonna have to be rewritten in factored form. Now look at all your ones with two terms, okay? That doesn't have a GCF and it's not a DOPS because it's not to the second power. So drop that down, but you drop it down into parentheses, okay? Because I know I'm going to have to factor this, okay? All right, so then what I do, flip this over to the back and just copy that down. X to the second minus 1x minus 6. Okay, GCF's probably just going to be 1. Okay, you're not going to have a negative, so we don't care about that. And then we t-chart that. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6, so I need to do a minus to come to 1. 1 and 6, nope. 2 and 3, yup. So negative 3, positive 2. Okay, my a is 1, so I can forget about the 1. I can just write it as x plus 2 times x minus 3. If I did the rainbows and foiled it, okay, it would come back to this. Okay, so remember, it's x plus 2 times x minus 3. So you replace this with x plus 2, x minus 3. Okay. Okay, now that one right there, that's two terms, but it doesn't have a GCF, okay, and it's not a DOPS, so you just keep that the same. And then these two, there's no the GCF's 1, okay. I mean, if you put a 1 in front, don't do it, but you just see 1, and then that's not a DOPS, okay. So I just keep those the same. Okay, now my LCD. I have to approach this a lot differently, okay? Now the bottom, I have the parentheses x plus 2, okay? And then the parentheses x minus 3. X minus 3 I already have. X plus 2 I already have, so now let's go to work. So this has one factor of x plus 2. Ratio number 2 has 0 factors of x plus 2, and this has 1 factor of x plus 2. So that 0's got to get his crap together, and he's got to go up so he has 1. So I put a parentheses x plus 2 and x plus 2. Okay, now how about x minus 3? Okay, well, we have 1 factor of x, 1 factor here, 1 factor here, and 0 factors here. So again, we have to get that 0 up so he has 1 with all the rest. Okay, now I can forget about the bottoms. Now here's my equals. So on the first ratio, you just have x minus 1. I'm just going to write 1x minus 1. I don't need to multiply anything. Okay. Here I need to distribute the negative 1. So it's going to be negative 1x minus 2, okay? Now over here I'm going to have to FOIL, okay? Because I got 1x plus 1, 1x minus 3, okay? So down here I'm going to show my work, 1x plus 1 times 1x minus 3. And then I start my distribution, 1x times 1x, 1x times negative 3, and that's been distributed. Now I take 1 times 1x and 1 times negative 3. So that's 1x to the second, negative 3x, 1x, and negative 3. Okay, so we combine those. So you got 1x to the second minus 2x minus 3. Now, you got two answers, and obviously there's a lot of x's that aren't to the second, so you need to move everything to one side, okay? Now, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. I'm just going to minus 1x from negative 2x, and then I'm going to plus 1x to all that other stuff. And then plus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 2. Now, I know I've got 1x to the second. Then I take negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3. But when I add 1, then I'm back to negative 2x. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Plus 2, though, is 0. So I'm not going to have anything there. It's just going to go to equals 0. Okay. So there's two terms. Okay. GCF DOPS. You see this, the reason I don't have a third term is because negative 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 0. Think of a number line. If you're at negative 3, you move 1 to the right, you're at negative 2. You move 2 more to the right, you're now at 0. Okay, so my GCF, negative, nope. X, yeah, you are going to need X here because they both have X. And the GCF's 1, but it's 1X, so that comes out, okay? Okay, so that ends up being 1X minus just 2, okay? And that's not a DOPS, but I do have my two factors, F1, F2. So 1X could equal 0. 1x minus 2 could equal 0. So I divide by 1 here, I get 0. Plus 2, that's 2. Divided by 1 would still be 2. So that's a nasty, nasty problem. Okay. So again, when you have a plus or minus operation within the fraction, it's got to go in parentheses, and you need to treat it like that. You need to factor anything you can on your way down here. Do your LCD with the parentheses, it's drawn out, okay?